Here is week 3 of working with my California Extreme Mustang Makeover mare. She's a Devil's Garden mare, 5 years old, and I'm really enjoying working with her. So this week we really worked on refining our skills that we learned in the previous weeks. She's really taken well to lunging, and I don't even need to use the whip, which is kind of funny since she's so dull and lazy under saddle. And also, today I decided to put on some polo wraps, which I found really surprising that she didn't mind because a lot of Mustangs have issues with things touching their legs, and so I wanted her to have that constant feeling of something being there. And as I talked about in earlier videos, whenever I'm asking them to turn into me, I use a specific keyword, and what I use is here, so all of my horses know that's when to turn in. Here I'm using a soft cotton rope that's attached to a halter, and I'm flicking it over her head because she's extremely ear shy, not necessarily about her head. And I just continue flicking the rope until she starts to relax, and once she does a little bit better, I start to reward her with some treats, so I'm not a huge treat giver. She really took well to this method. I think I only did this one session of flipping the rope over her ears, and then I was able to just put the rope over ever since, and now I'm able to flip my reins over with no problem. I went ahead and hooked up my reins and was ready to get on. I walked her forward to get her unstuck, and here I'm actually getting on from the ground for the first time. I'm not that flexible as most equestrians aren't, but she did really well and didn't react, and I went ahead and started patting her all over, just seeing if she's comfortable with that like I've done in earlier videos. One thing I do with some of my broke horses is I go ahead and flex them off right as I get on to make sure they're just supple and that they're giving their sides and giving their head to the bit. But I'm not necessarily doing that with my unbroke horses because she's definitely on the lazy side, and I want her to learn to move forward, and that, that's the goal, is moving out and moving forward. So I don't necessarily want to pull on her too much right at the beginning. We're still working on our steering. She was doing much better this week, and that's something that I use the ground driving to work on as well, which you can see me do in earlier videos. And again, just turning her to make sure we have our steering. I'm not using a constant pressure when I go to turn her. It's kind of pull and give back because I don't want to hang on her mouth at all. So this day I took her to a local ranch that has a lovely arena that let us use it for the day, and she did absolutely amazing. This was her first time being in an arena, and she didn't spook at anything. There's stallions, there's horses, and cattle. Just asking her to really move out because she is so lazy and behind my leg. I wasn't too worried about steering. And this day was actually our first time cantering under saddle, which was really exciting. Even though we didn't have much steering, we're still working on that. But she did a good few steps, and I was really excited about that. Here's the next morning, again working her on the lunge line before getting on, just making sure she doesn't have any quirks in her and is getting all of her muscles warmed up before we ride. And this day I decided to put my English saddle on her. It's been quite a while since I've ridden English, so I was a little stiff getting on, which kind of made her a little nervous, but she handled it pretty well. I definitely think she could be an amazing English horse. She has the body for it and absolutely loves jumping. And cross country is something I'm hoping to do with her before the end of the makeover. Again, I'm starting out my ride making sure I have my steering and my brakes, and she's doing really well even with all the distractions of the other horses out in the pastures. And this is quite cute. My bottle calf actually came up to the fence and was wanting to meet her, and she was running along the outside in the pasture there, and Miss Jazzy didn't care about her. And it's really quite cute. She's following us around the outside of the round pen there, being quite interested. And here I let Jazzy kind of go up and sniff her. Now she's a little sticky here, which I should have moved her out, but I was really wanting her to go down and sniff my calf. But she's a little sticky because my gate to go out into the pasture, which is one of her favorite places to ride, is right there. And there you see kind of the sniffing of the calf and her. And here I picked up the trot and I'm trotting around to the other side, and my little calf is following, running behind us. And Jazzy handled that really well. That's another thing I want to work with her on is moving cattle and just getting her exposed to all different kinds of situations so that her new owner will know that she is comfortable whenever they go out to ride and whatever they want to do with her. Here I took her out of the round pen and we are actually going over to see my goats. Again, just getting her exposed to all kinds of crazy things and objects so that she can have the experiences for when she goes out in the big world. And one of my favorite things to do is trail obstacles with them, and I was really surprised how well she took to all of these under saddle. I've taken her through by ponying and walking her with a lunge line through all of my obstacles, but she did really well with the pool noodles. And I actually only have a teeter-totter bridge, so she's learned that's what we do from the very beginning. I know a lot of horses can really struggle with teeter-totter bridges, but she has been doing it since the beginning, so I don't find her freaking out with just regular bridges or even other teeter-totters. And even though she just put a few feet on the bridge, I'm still giving her a big reward. I couldn't care less if she decided to walk off right now, since we're still in the beginning of learning how to do trail obstacles. But she goes ahead and walks across the entire thing, and again, she gets a good reward for doing that. Up next, I have a shower curtain that I actually cut strips to be kind of a cowboy curtain, and I just have one side tied off so she knows to stick her nose through and head on through. Thank you so much for watching and supporting mine and Jazzy's journey through the Mustang makeover. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for upcoming videos since I have some exciting news coming out soon. And also, if you're interested in looking at Jazzy for purchase, go ahead and contact me. I'll leave my email in the description below.